I have to work though. I keep on putting the hours. I'll watch you later. Anyway, let's keep on going. So let's keep on going with like the nerdy stuff, like the tr the tragic
In 20
the tragic decline of optimized video games. Like you are into the fucking welcome to the fucking rabbit hole of we are actually into like this is when it comes to like video games and like video games history. This is actually you or the dark side of like video games and video games like oh this is actually interesting. This is actually kind of like the dark side, the unfiltered like dark side of like philosophical side of like video gaming. Like you have like your it's past lore of video games. I feel maybe I'm wrong. I just feel that like when you start talking about philosophy of like game eras and stuff, and like it's just like it's kind of like the fucking like end of the iceberg, you know, when it comes to video gaming. It's just kind of like this is kind of like the horror movies when it comes to like philosophy around like video games. Anyway,
2025, you either make a down payment on a house or you buy a mid-range PC. Over the years, video game graphics have evolved far beyond what we ever could imagine to be possible. Pores in the skin, motion capture technology, photorealistic shadows and reflections that adjust themselves properly in real time, and that was 2018. Now we have pores in the skin, motion capture technology, photorealistic shadows and reflections that adjust themselves in real time at sub 60 frames per second with the most powerful gaming GPU on the market, accompanied with ghosting, poppin', input lag, flickering, motion blur without motion blur. What the f happened? I'm a simple gamer, and I like to think that I play a variety of different genres. The Last of Us, Danganronpa, Silent Hill, Red Dead, Hentai Girl Karen, Fortnite. But in recent years, I found myself using mods more and more just to get my games to run well. Back in 2017, I owned a $600 PC and I played PUBG, Skyrim, Assassin's Creed, and Borderlands on it all the time. But nowadays,
my mom bought me a PC when I was like 12 years old, 11 years old, or something like between 8 and 12, right? And it was able to run World of fucking Warcraft. My mom bought my fucking PC that was able to run World of fucking Warcraft. And here I am with my $2,000 PC and I'm not able to run certain games. Can you understand the fucking problem? Like, I completely agree. And I am part of like the average players that will tell you, fuck you, I will never even try to learn what the fuck a mod is to make a game run. It doesn't run, fuck you, the game. And fuck you for making it so expensive for me to buy a PC that cannot even run everything. If you buy a PC that it costs $2,000 and it's not able to run like all the next gen, fuck you. Because a PS5 can and an Xbox can. And it's like, I don't even care about like high graphics. I just care about being able to run it. Right? So fuck you.
it's hard to run any modern title on a PC under $1,500, or at least it's hard to make the games look good. Yes, of course technology and graphics evolve over time, but it's clear that things have gotten a little disproportionate, especially when the beefiest, dump truckiest GPUs struggle to run games and don't even break the 60 FPS mark. I'm talking, of course, about the rapidly spreading virus in gaming right now, known as bad optimization. But what killed optimization? Why do developers not care for their games to run good and look good at the same time?
Oh yeah, by the way, when did I start playing WoW? Because like my parents actually like bought me a computer able to play World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft vanilla. Back in the day where like it cost a lot to fucking run it. Back in the day where no one knew what the fuck a PC was and people were like, you can't even play games on this stuff. My parents were able to fucking like buy me a PC that runs World of Warcraft with the online connection, with everything. And I am not able to even fucking understand what the with a $2,000 PC, I'm not even able to fucking run everything that I want or run everything that I want with high res. Fuck you. technology. And fuck you, the new era. How the fuck is this possible?
same time, and instead exclusively prioritize making them appealing to the eyes. Well, like many topics, it's not so black and white, and there are a lot of reasons, and starting with the first 13th reason why, upscaling technology. In the past few years, artificial intelligence has evolved at an alarming rate. AI is being used everywhere. We have AI-generated videos like this Coca-Cola ad I got, AI-generated essays, AI-generated songs, AI-generated comments, which is worthy of a whole different video.
AI generated AIs as well that will dominate the world and say fuck you. Hopefully there will be pro ecology and pro feminism
itself, and of course AI generated graphics. Well, not completely AI generated. Upscaling technology in video games works like this. The game runs at a lower resolution like 1080p, and then it gets upscaled to a higher resolution like 1440p. In theory, this will make your game look like it normally would at base resolution, but that's not necessarily true. Even on a quality setting, some problems just become glaring. In Fortnite, there's some serious shadow flickering and fuzziness going on in some areas, and in Red Dead Redemption 2, it may not seem too different at first glance, but look at how the game looks when it starts raining. What the f? AI has to guess what the game will look like at a higher resolution, and as a result, the game will never look like how the developers intended with upscaling on. I really care about vision and artistic direction, and I can't help but feel like DLSS and FSR are quick and easy solutions to improve frame rate, but molest the original concept. DLSS, or Deep Learning Super Sampling, NVIDIA's upscaling technology, has settings you can choose from, such as quality, balance, performance, and ultra performance. What this does is lower the base resolution of the game, so instead of upscaling 1080p to 1440p, it'll upscale 720p or 480p to 1440p. The lower the base resolution, the more inaccurate the upscale. And for real, who the hell even plays on performance modes? DLSS is only enabled on RTX cards anyway, and I'm pretty sure all of those cards are capable enough for gamers to not have to submit to the worst case scenario to enjoy a video game. Oh shit. Another AI-generated solution modern NVIDIA GPUs are utilizing is the brain.
Do you hear all these words that you do not understand? Yeah, this is why fucking people buy consoles. People, there are some certain people that ask, why don't you buy a computer? Why don't you buy a fucking gamer PC? It's so easy, right? Take the time to fucking listen to every word that he said and remind yourself that like you do not understand them, or you pretend to understand them, but like you kind of like it. And think about the fact that rethink about the dude that tells you, yeah, I buy the console and I just put the game and it works. They understand why the fuck these people, they're not stupid. They're actually the intelligent ones. They actually did the right choice. They don't have to fucking wonder about frame generation or like SSR or whatever the fuck. They're just, I bought the PS5 and then I bought the games and I play them. That's it. Get me.
Brand spanking new frame generation method. What this does is it takes two frames.
And now take the time to listen how psychotic
from your game, and will use AI to interpret what a middle frame would look like. So basically, your frame rate will go from 30 to 60. This will inevitably cause.
Oh yeah. Okay. Now place yourself in try to imagine that you are like the fucking like person that plays video games on a console and listening to someone trying to tell him that like PC gaming is better. Why don't you buy a gamer PC? And now like listen to the guy trying to fucking like tell the guy that like only plays on consoles. He did the arguments, and this is what he sounds like to the fucking console player. Check this out. This is what people would try to fucking promote like PC gaming to console gamers sound like. No joke. I just noticed that like this is exactly what they sound. Check this out.
Input lag, but for laid-back gamers who use wireless controllers, that won't be much of an issue, since wireless controllers obviously have input lag already, so it really depends on what game you're playing. Now, I already know a lot of you guys are probably thinking, just one N? Upscaling? Frame generation? This is the future of gaming. Now, I can play GTA 6 on my RTX 20 Ti. And my response to that is, short-term solutions cause long-term problems, and it's already happening. Yes, upscaling technology allows gamers to not spend a bajillion dollars on a new GPU, but what it also does is encourage developers to not optimize their games since they know, hey, gamers will just turn DLSS on anyway to make the game run good. I just beat the Silent Hill 2 remake. It came out this October and it was nothing short of mind-blowing. It was also PC-blowing because my computer sounded like a Russian bomber jet trying to run the damn thing. Still loved it to death though, and was rooting for it at the Game Awards. Come on, Luke
And
Roberts.
the winner is
Come on, Luke Roberts.
Melinda Jurgen.
If we check the recommended specs for Silent Hill 2, it suggests using DLSS to play the game at a high setting on the recommended graphics card.
So basically what he just said is the recommendation to play Silent Hill 2 is to go to NASA and steal a computer from there, and then you play on this computer, Silent Hill 2. This is basically like what they tell you.
Silent Hill 2 looks incredible, but it's also Silent Hill 2. The entire game is set in these liminal spaces, so it shouldn't be too difficult to run even if it looks realistic. Well, if we install the Sunny Hills mod, which turns the town of Silent Hill into a normal small town on a beautiful day, we can see the actual draw distance for the game. Enemies pop in pretty close to James, but the areas that are loaded in are actually surprisingly far away. What's strange about this is that in the unmodded game, the fog is thick and so close to James, you never even see the buildings that are actually loaded in. Rendering most of the map like this at once is not only pointless, because it takes a significant chunk of performance straight out of your game for no reason at all, but it's also ironic because the fog existed in the first few Silent Hill games for this exact reason. The PlayStation 1 didn't have the power to load distant areas, and to hide the hardware shortcomings, Team Silent slapped a bunch of fog onto the game, which fortunately gave it a more ominous tone, but conveniently improved performance as well. The fog in the Silent Hill 2 remake is still present to provide a bleak tone for the game's visuals, but the developers aren't utilizing it to its full potential. Some games make distant...
So the reality of Silent Hill 2 is you see me smoking cigarettes all the time. I was actually like the neighbor of like this fucking like town. And all the smoke, it's just me like smoking cigarettes. It wasn't like a fucking like, that's why there's a model also with what happens if Vi wasn't living like next to the city of Silent Hill. And actually like there's no smoke at all. Yeah. No, that's the actual truth. You can actually ask the developers, like they'll tell you, ask them if they know Vi. They'll tell you what the, this dude isn't dead yet.
Buildings look horrendous to save performance instead of just outright making them disappear. And the Silent Hill 2 remake doesn't even do that. Fine details still appear on the distant objects, but we never would have even seen it in the unmodded version because of the fog. Sure, you could say DLSS and frame
not fog, smoke. They'll tell you. It is smoke, not fog.
Generation are excellent solutions for gamers to not spend a fortune on a new card to run these games. But as we can see from the recommended specs, there are also solutions for developers to not make basic fixes for their games because they're thinking, well, why would we make our game run good when DLSS can do it for us? The RTX 4090 can't even play Silent Hill 2 at 4K, which is the industry's current mainstream resolution, at 60 frames per second. That is not only crazy, but it's unacceptable when it's clear that there are obvious fixes that will make the game in question run better without using upscaling. But despite all the graphical issues, it still should have won something at the Game Awards, goddammit.
And Silent Hill 2. Yeah! And the Game Award for audio design goes to
Silent Hill 2, right? Come on.
Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2.
The PlayStation 5 Pro, which is the best console on the market for gaming, and over $1,000 in Canada if you want the disc attachment, uses its own AI upscaling technology known as PSSR, or PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution. I remember when the PlayStation 5 was revealed back in 2020, they were preaching that this is a huge step for gaming because developers don't have as many graphical limitations anymore to how they want their game to look. Because of the convenience of power, developers are now making more limitations because of these short-term solutions like upscaling and frame generation to optimize their game for them. PSSR is not good for the future of console gaming. Think about it. Consoles don't allow for advanced graphical customization. On PC, you can select the texture quality, draw distance, shader quality, reflection.
Here's the reality. Gamers do not care about, like, you're already, like, this is actually already gibberish for most gamers. Gamers want a gaming experience that is just beautiful enough and good enough when they launch, and they don't care. Like, if, like, they want the best quality, that's it. And not a fucking, like, being able to optimize or whatever fuck. They want the best quality right away, and this is what, like, consoles actually offer all the time. And this is why, like, remember the joke about like trying to fucking promote like gaming, PC gaming to people? Yeah, no. People just when I launch my fucking like game, I want it to look the best it can, and that's it. I don't care about like optimization or whatever the fuck. Like, let someone that actually like spent like 15 years studying this stuff and studying like the technology fucking do it for me. I am not a prodigy. I am not a fucking like. I just want to play a game.
And on console, you can choose between performance or quality. In-depth graphics customization will never be a thing on console.
And who would choose performance over quality? I will choose to but it's beautiful over being able to actually play the game like you're supposed to play it. Like, save me.
Consoles because they're made with the intention to be convenient. So now that we have PSSR, what's stopping these companies from making an unoptimized video game, using PSSR to make it run a stable 30 FPS, and then calling that the quality setting? This, right now, when some games can't even play 60 FPS at 4K on the fattest GPU on the market, is not good, and will only give future developers an incentive to use shortcuts while making the game's visuals. Ray tracing. 2 words that's been crammed into every gaming tech presentation ever since 2018. So here's a quick explanation of what ray tracing actually is. Ray tracing is a graphics technique that simulates how light behaves in the real world to create photorealistic frames. Prior to ray tracing's explosive entrance into the industry in 2018, developers would have to make their own lighting techniques in the game to simulate as accurately as possible how the light and reflections would behave. The thing about ray tracing is that in most modern games, you won't even notice a difference. Most of the awe you'll get from a game that's ray traced is the placebo effect whispering in your ear that the game looks way better. This is Cyberpunk with ray tracing on max, and this is Cyberpunk with ray tracing off. As you can see, there is a graphical upgrade with ray tracing, but more importantly, there's a huge dent in performance. Ray tracing has actually existed for a very long time though. The initial idea for it was thought up in 1968, and Pixar started using it in their animated films, beginning its reign in A Bug's Life from 1999. Granted, they only used it for like 2 shots, but regardless, they did use ray tracing. That's why 3D animated movies from the early 2000s still look better than modern day stylized games. Now that we have the technology to implement ray tracing in video games though, it's a pro and a con. In some games that don't have detailed casting effects like Minecraft, ray tracing is an enormous upgrade. But in games like Cyberpunk, it looks great in some scenes, but most of the time you probably won't even notice it. It's true that ray tracing is an option. You don't have to enable it, but the support of this new expensive technology means the downfall of an old but gold method of creating reflection. I'm going to use Half-Life 2 for this example. In Half-Life 2, Valve used planar reflections to create convincing looking water. While this can be expensive to performance if used on a large face of water like an ocean for example, it's great for something small like a puddle. Now you guys may be saying, Justin, don't be a dingus, you dingus! Technology needs to evolve over time. Otherwise, we'll be stuck in the same place forever. And I 100% agree with you. You're not wrong. I just think that a lot of modern developers are putting all of their chips into ray tracing, even though most modern GPUs still struggle to run games with ray tracing on. In Star Wars Outlaws, for example, there's no option to turn ray tracing off. You can only lower and enhance the quality. All I'm saying is that while I would like to get to the point where every game automatically has ray tracing on, I just feel like most gamers aren't there yet, since a lot of people still use GTX 1080s, RTX 2080s, and whatever the AMD alternatives are, I don't really know. So why limit your audience? There should absolutely be ray tracing options, but I think that developers should still put a lot of effort into optimizing their games for when ray tracing is off, so it still looks good and not muggy everywhere. Most people don't have the money to sink into a brand spanking new 4090 that can actually utilize ray tracing well, so the rest of the gamers, including console gamers, are forced to be stuck with these subpar water effects and reflections because the developers developers think that they can just glaze over it as fast as possible since there's an easy, quick solution, and that's to let ray tracing do the work for them. I love ray tracing, I love shadow quality, a lot of reflective surfaces, but let's be real, this is too much for what we can handle right now. We can barely even run 4K open world games on the newest cards, so why are we building video games for ray tracing? That is insanity. And again, if ray tracing is an option, that's great. All I'm saying is the game should still look good for the people that don't want to have it enabled. Developers
For the people who will probably like never have $3,000 to fucking spend into building a PC, because as much as like people can criticize, like even if the PS5 is $700, it's $700, not 3,000, not 3,000. And this is like I'm doing streaming, so I have like doing streaming, YouTube, all the stuff. Hello, I'm a content creator. If you do stuff on top of that, like I do music as well, like it fucking piles up in such a fucking so fast. The price of like everything that like you need to fucking like add, and like, so I am like somehow like justified for like having to pay a premium for actually like being able to say, hey man, like try to be nice to other people because I'm a content creator, I told you so. But basically like the thing is that like the average gamer do not deserve to fucking pay such a fucking premium to play a game and to after that discover the joys of needing to understand how to clean a PC, how to upgrade a PC, how to take care of a PC. While you buy the PS5, it works until the PS6, and that's it. There is no like opening up. There is no like you need to no. You buy it, it works, and it works until the next generation. That's it. So yeah.
Need to optimize their graphics to where the gamers are at, and not 100% to where the newest hardware is. Of course, optimize it so the games look as good as possible on that hardware, but don't make it impossible for everybody else, because that's just a lose-lose for everybody involved. Now, these new games, Stalker 2, Remnant 2, Silent Hill 2, The Witcher 4, all have something in common, and it's that they're all made in the Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine 5, to be specific. When Unreal Engine 5 was announced, people thought it would be a huge leap for developers since it would handle a lot of the fine graphical details, taking the work off of the programmers. The flaw with UE5 is that the graphics are incredible, but they're also expensive and unoptimized. Most of these Unreal Engine 5 games suffer the same issues, and that's not only bad performance, but very blatant ghosting. Ghosting is when a frame lingers for a bit, even after it moves on. There's also some pretty clear flickering problems and the hardcore push for temporal anti-aliasing. Anti-aliasing is a graphics technology that's been around for a while, to be fair, which removes the jagged edges on objects. With it off, the game is completely raw. Each pixel is exactly where it needs to be, at the cost of everything looking sharp. What anti-aliasing does is it slightly blurs the image by softening the edges on objects and makes it appear less like a video game and more like a picture. TAA is used pretty much everywhere now in modern gaming, and if you stand still, it looks pretty good, but if you move, it looks blurry and horrendous. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a great example for a game that's made with the idea that TAA will be enabled. The game without it looks weird, and with it on, looks blurry. It's clear that the developers didn't take the time to optimize the game without it, and instead decided to really push for TAA. But the problem is that TAA in Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't completely optimized either, and just ruins the image when the game is moving, which is, you know, most of the game. Stalker 2, an Unreal Engine 5 game, is probably the perfect example of a game that relies on TAA to look good. And it's clear that the game was made with TAA in mind, because the trees are dithered without it on. So basically, if you want to play a modern video game, you either get sharp, unrealistic, and untouched graphics, or turn anti-aliasing on and get a main dish of blurry game with a side of ghosting. Anti-aliasing was not always this much of an issue though. Let's look at Skyrim. With anti-aliasing off, the game looks sharp, sure, but it still looks great. While Red Dead Redemption 2 with anti-aliasing off looks sharp and weird. And like the developers never even wanted it to be an option. It's another strange time for gaming. In 2008, we had the notorious piss filter trend, where every game had a brown and yellow color scheme. In 2018, every game had to have a battle royale mode, and in 2024, every game is made in Unreal Engine 5, and nothing runs as well as it should. To prevent this from happening, developers need to slow down and take the time to remove the unnecessary clutter that claps performance. They need to think, well, how can we make this reflection look good without ray tracing? And they need to consider the broad audience of gamers instead of what the loaded game journalists who can actually run the game at max settings will say about it.
And they also need to take in account the one thing that like the achievement that like video consoles and the console market achieved is that you buy a console and it works, it functions, you don't have to upgrade it. It functions on every game that you buy. It's with good enough graphics, and it functions until the next generation of console from the same corporation, right? Why don't the PC market understand that this is success, and that like not everyone is a fucking like a prodigy about like fucking like computing and like programming and all that stuff. People just want to play video games, you know? Like, and it's just like, look at the console and look at the PC, and it's like, you buy it, everything works, and the only reason to change it is because new generation. You buy it, not everything works, you have to upgrade it, you have to take care of it, you have to fucking like my PC almost died because of the dust in it, right? I don't know how to fucking undust like my fucking like 5 like hidden like I'm scared to open my fucking PC to fucking do that. A console, you never have to do that. Like, it's simple as fucking that, right? So anyway.
But most importantly, what do you guys think about all this? How can developers fix this modern issue in gaming? Make sure to let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll check them out as soon as I possibly can. As always, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch this video, and make sure to have a good one. Also, I wrote a song about this. I hate TAA, choppy gameplay. For the price I pay, I would think that most the shit I buy would run okay. I can't trace no rays. Back in the day, if this is AAA, then there's something that I gotta say. What happened to my frames? What happened to my frames? When all of these games still look the same, and I know that my PC isn't to blame. Oh no, what happened to my frames? What happened to my frames? When all of these games still look the same, and I know that my PC isn't to blame. Oh no, it isn't to blame. Tell me that this will last forever. What? Come on, don't say that. You're not old. Ryzen 5 3600, 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, and your graphics card is only 10 numbers under the best one on the market right now. The RTX 2080. What's that clunky ass charger for? Baby, that's for my phone. Oh, come on, what are you looking at now? Oh! Baby, it's not what it looks like. Maybe she does have the better graphics card and CPU, but come on, you're the fatter one.
Goddamn. Okay, that was like quite a fucking like the interesting video, and like I'll tell you this again, like this is why people who fucking play, like promote like PC gaming, like sound like crazy people to console players. Like I got the fucking rundown, and I got the fucking like back to reality on why PC gaming is great, right? I prefer PC gaming overall, right? But it's just like, yeah, bro, like I am stupid. I cannot learn all this stuff just to be able to fucking like play a game optimized when I can spend $700 on a fucking console and be like, what the fuck is optimization all about? Everything runs smooth, everything run well, and everything run good enough, run well enough. That's the reality. Gamers do not fucking care about like a game running perfectly with like all the ultra graphics. If it runs well enough, they'll be happy about it. But running well enough means that it runs like when it doesn't fucking lag, right? It doesn't fucking lag, and it does it the performance side is taken care of, and then it's it it's beautiful enough. That's it.